Merry Meet Witches, this is Graybeard Crowfather on the Intro to Wicca series. Tonight we're going to do a video in depth in regards to the goddess. Hopefully you had a chance to do your homework from the other night and put together a Samhain ritual. I just wanted to go over a couple things real quick here first. A lot of you probably think that these videos aren't that good, and I know that they aren't because it's the first time I've ever done them, and I'm still a little not, confident behind the camera. So I'm just doing the best I can, and just using my phone isn't the greatest thing for the videos, but it's all I have at this point. So hopefully you understand and take what you learn and use it to your advantage. I plan on doing as many of these videos as I can until I've covered pretty much everything that I know, so that you have the knowledge and, get you on your feet and on your way down the path. So tonight's video is in depth on the goddess. In Wicca and majority of pagan witchcraft, Wiccan beliefs, there are two main deities, the goddess and the god. Both are equal to each other. One's not above the other one. One is the left, one is the right. Together they make one whole. One is not better than the other. There is one branch of Wicca that I know of that basically worships the goddess but doesn't worship the god at all. That's Dianic Wicca. I've never studied it, so I can't really speak about it, other than I know that they just worship the goddess and kind of leave the god out of it. Not sure how that actually works, but again, like I said, I've never studied it, so I couldn't tell you. Alright, so the goddess, the symbol or the actual, representation of the goddess that you might see is like one of the ones that I showed you the other day. This could be something that you could put as a symbol on your altar. I've seen a lot of places that sell like pagan items and statues. They make the goddess symbol like that. They also have a god symbol that's similar to that, but that's the one I see the most of. Also the triple goddess symbol representing maiden mother crone. I'll go into depth on that a little further. So a lot of people see the goddess as a sister or a mother or a friend, even see them as part of ourselves. Even in the male aspect, we have the goddess part of our soul, if you want to call it that, because without that we couldn't live. The most recognizable image that you would ever see for the goddess would be the moon, usually represented like the picture that I showed you with the maiden mother crone, which reflect upon the different phases of the moon, the waxing, full, and waning moons. They represent the goddess in her three phases: maiden, mother, crone, which also relate to the different days or times of the wheel of the year, being usually Imbolc, which is the maiden phase. I'm sorry. I gotta go back. Yeah, I got that screwed up. All right, well, ignore what I just said. Sorry about that. I'd have to, like I said, I get nervous behind the camera, and sometimes I lose my train of thought. As far as the goddess is concerned, she is all of nature, all-encompassing. There are different and many animals that do represent her. Some off the top of my head that I can think of, I actually do have a list here, that have the goddess representing them are a rabbit, a bear, an owl, a dog, a cat, the bat, the goose, the cow, the dolphin, the lion, the horse, the wren, the scorpion, the spider, and the bee. There are many more, and I'm just not going to list them all off, otherwise I'd be sitting here all night rambling off all these different animals that are representative of the goddess. You do have Wiccan tools and objects, or witchcraft tools and objects that you use that also represent the goddess. On your altar, you may have one or two of them already. The cauldron is the symbol of the goddess. The cup or the chalice is also a symbol of the goddess. You may have a 5-pointed flower on your altar that also represents the goddess. In addition to that, you have pearls, silver, what else do I have here? A seashell, a mirror. Those are all objects that relate to and can represent the goddess. On your altar, if you have a statue, that would be your main representation of her. If you don't have a statue, you can use a candle. And usually, if I recall correctly from when I've ever used it, I haven't looked in a long time, it's just because it's there and I never really pay attention to it when I'm not in there. But a gold candle would be for representing the goddess. Silver would be for the god, and you can set those up on your altar. Goddess candle or statue will always be on the left-hand side. I think if you remember back from the time when I told you about setting up your altar, that you have the left side the goddess, the right side the god, and in the middle is both combined. So when you think about the goddess, you would really recognize, like, she is by herself, but yet all pantheons have a bunch of different goddesses that are basically just forms of representation of the one goddess. So in Egyptian pantheon, you might have like Isis or Bast or Bastet, however you would prefer to pronounce that. They are just physical representations of the goddess in that particular pantheon. Same for the Greek. You have Aphrodite, you have Athena, you have Hera. They're all, again, just representations of the goddess. In the Norse, you have Freya, and then also you have Hel, or Hela, however you want to pronounce that. And in Celtic, you have Inanna and the Morrigan. Again, all just different representations of the goddess. A lot of people I see tend to try to attract certain aspects of the goddess that is not necessary. When you're just starting out, just focus on just the goddess herself. Don't worry about putting a name or a face to her. Again, it's not necessary. It's never come down to where anybody in our circle has ever had to, specifically relate to a specific goddess from whatever pantheon. Just worry about the goddess for now. If something happens down the road, you'll know it, and if it does happen, it'll be something that's very big in your life. That's really pretty much all I have for tonight. Not too much to go into as far as, what you need to do to worship her or work with her. I'm sorry. You don't need to worry about, pleasing them. Work with them, though. If you're going to invoke the goddess, have something there on your altar or in your sacred space or your work area that you can that you believe would be something that the goddess would like. Going back to what I said before, representative, or if you have seashells and put them on your altar, that would be something that could honor her with, or pearl necklace. If you have your chalice or your cup, that works too. Anything that you feel when you're making your ritual or your spells will work. I'm not saying like you put your cup on your altar and then like all of a sudden it's going to start shaking or anything like that. That doesn't happen. I mean, unless there's an earthquake or something like that, then I'd worry and you know, get out of there. For your homework tonight, I'm going to kind of harken back to one of the previous videos that I made, and if you can, get outside. It's the moon is slowly fading to the new moon, so if you could get out in this, I know it's getting kind of chilly where we're at, but I'm not sure how the weather is where everybody else is. Get outside and build a bigger rapport with the goddess. I know you may have done so already, but continue to build and strengthen that relationship, and you'll find that things are starting to come together and click for you as you're putting all these videos together. So try that if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. Like I said, I know it's getting a little bit colder out now, and nobody really wants to sit outside for an hour or two, you know, freezing their butt off. For the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to go in depth on the god, and then we'll see what we'll have coming up for the next one. So, signing off for the night, Graybeard Crowfather, blessed be all.